So I heard three ladies who have never met each other say the same thing this week, and it was really interesting and definitely worth bringing to you. And there's lots of sun on my face, but whatever. I just finished up dinner and I'm about to have a call here in 15 minutes, so I wanted to check in with you guys. But I heard these three ladies say the same thing, which was, oh, I just wish he would leave me alone, or I hope he doesn't do this, or I hope they don't do this, or I hope she doesn't do this, okay? And when it comes to dealing with toxic people well, okay, there's certain strategies that are good and certain strategies that are bad, right? If someone has continually shown a pattern of bad behavior and your game plan going in is hoping they don't show that bad behavior again, it is a very, very, very bad game plan, okay? And I use the analogy of crocodiles, right? And so it's like, oh gosh, I really hope the crocodile doesn't bite me this time. I really hope the crocodile stays asleep. I really hope the crocodile whatever. And, and even, one of the girls today, she said, oh, I'll just pray about it. And it's like, not that you shouldn't pray. I'm not saying that at all. I'm saying hoping a toxic people, or just hoping that by sheer optimism that the toxic person behaves well, is a very, very bad strategy. It's also a very passive strategy, right? It's giving all the control to the toxic person, okay? In one example, it was that I hope they don't come to my house anymore, okay? And I said, well, what are you going to do if they do come to your house? Oh, I just hope they don't come to my house. Well, what are you going to do if they do come to your house? Oh, I just hope they don't come to my house. Well, what are you going to do if they do come to your house, right? And this is an intelligent female, right? I've heard three people say the same thing this week. Oh, I hope he doesn't reach out to someone else. I hope the toxic person doesn't reconnect to another toxic, to another person and make me look bad and start a smear campaign. It's like, well, what have they done in the past? They behaved badly. They showed up to my house. They started a smear campaign. Okay, so how many times have they done that? 3 or 4 or 5? So they've done it 3 or 4 or 5 times. But your strategy is to hope they don't do it this time. Okay? I want you to recognize how passive that is. I understand why you hope they don't do it this time. I really, 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 really do. I understand how nice it feels, like if it all works out, right? And it just magically works out on its own. I understand the hope of that, right? And so many of our childhood stories, are about a fairy godmother swooping in, or finding that genie lamp, or finding a magic pill. There is no magic pill. You are the magic. You are the magic. You are the common denominator. You are the one who I'm sending you love, ladies, but we cannot sit passively by in our own lives and just hope the crocodile doesn't bite. Especially in something where the crocodile has bitten 3, 4, or 5 times already. They've already shown a pattern of behavior. Hoping they don't continue to exhibit that same pattern of behavior is a bad strategy. Okay? And we may not like the other options, right? Like, he just shows up at our house. I said, well, you can leave a note. You can tell him to get off your property. You can have a neighbor, tell him to get off the property. You can refuse to answer the door. You could even call the police and say he's trespassing, right? All those are active options where you have some power within your own life. Hoping he doesn't come to the house is so passive and so, it demeans you of your power. You don't have any control of your own life. They still have control. They have all the choices and you have none of the choices. Okay? And I want you guys to look for that, like active and passive ways to control your future. Active and passive ways, because wishing and hoping and, people are like, oh gosh, you seem to have such a great life. And it's like, do you know how many risks I took? Do you know how much I burned to the ground to get here? Do you know how many scary things I did? Do you know how many people I tried to get help from? Do you know? Do you know? Do you know? Do you know the times I had to stand up for myself? Do you know the times I had to, stand up to people who I thought were my friends? Do you know the times I had to do things I never imagined I would have to do? You don't get the life you want by just hoping. You don't get the life you want by hoping the toxic people just magically go away, right? And you don't get the life you want by just hoping it all works out, right? Some things work out, right? But favorite quote, Frederick Douglass said, God started answering my prayers when I started moving my feet. And so often I hear women and they say things like, oh, I just keep attracting toxic people. I just keep attracting toxic people. I just keep attracting toxic people. And I say, yep, you're good, kind, loving, giving, and forgiving. You keep doing the right thing. You keep doing nice things for them. You try to help them. You hope. You believe in love. Yep. And you keep attracting toxic people. Those are good qualities. I still want you to be good, kind, loving, giving, and forgiving. That's amazing. I want my daughter to be good, kind, loving, and forgiving. I want my son to be those things, okay? I just don't want those things to be used against you. And as we say in our lives, we think about as far as attracting toxic people, right? And it's like, oh, I don't want to attract toxic people in my life anymore, as if somehow there's a magic pill and they just all stay away. A very passive hope, right? And it's like, well, if a stray cat comes to the door and mews for milk, you decide whether or not you open the door or not. If you're a good for making them not show up at the door so you don't have to deal with it. Okay? So your job, what you're supposed to do, right, is get strong enough to shut the door. Get strong enough to recognize what kind of cat is out there, what kind of animal is out there. Because if there's a beautiful Siamese cat, I don't really know that much about cats, but if there's this beautiful Siamese cat, it's the perfect cat, it's the most wonderful cat in the whole world, and they come to your house and there's 18 stray kitties out there that look like they're bed wrangled and haven't eaten and look a mess, the right cat's not going to be able to come in because it's so crowded already with the toxic cats. And so when you keep opening the door to toxic people, you say, oh, I can't find the right people, I can't find Mr. Right, it's like Mr. Right can't get through. The right friend can't get through. The right opportunity can't get through because you're so busy dealing with the wrong kind of cat. Okay? So if there's a piece in your heart and your strategy and your life strategy is, I just hope they stay away, I understand why. I understand why. I understand why. I understand why. And I get it. But my job is to protect you and love on you and say that that is a very passive strategy that's not going to get you where you want. You have to be active, and you have to be your own participant in your own life, right? You have to be the most active participant in your own life. Otherwise, people are going to swoop in and tell you who you are and who you should be and what you should do and who you should take care of, and I guarantee you they're not going to tell you to take care of yourself. Hope that helps and hope you have a fabulous day.